Well, hello there everyone and welcome back to another video here on the JB Visuals YouTube channel, where I am back here on Planet Coaster, where in this video I'm actually going to be showing you a little project I've actually been working on most recently. I've been working on this since I believe it's early March. I think I've been working on this, and as you can see we've actually been building a little amusement park, which you can actually just see in the background from a bird's eye view, or a helicopter view, or a drone view, or whatever you want to call it. It's all the same shot which you can see from above. And yeah, I'm actually going to be giving you a little tour of the park itself. As you can see here, there's a lot of rides and a couple of roller coasters, well, a few roller coasters I can see actually in the background. There's also a little railway which I can see, and of course a variety of different shops and restaurants as well. So what we'll do is, I think we'll start over here. We will make our way down, start with the entrance. So here I've actually got an entrance that I found in the facilities. You can see here got some nice got some really nice bits of theming going on. We've got lots of different plants and trees. We've got some lighting. We've got a couple of posters, just to make the entrance more attractive, so people can actually go in easily and have something to look at. We have got a railway that goes across our park. There are 3 stations, which means there are 3 trains in operation. So one train, so all the trains will go round, and then of course there'll be 1 train per station, and I'll show you them later on. So over here we actually have our thrill rides section. I think we've got about 3, 6, 9. Yeah, I think it's about 9 thrill ones, so 9 thrill rides. So over here we're going to start off with, we'll make our way from left to right. So over here we have the giant claw, which is about to take off. So this is actually like a giant claw that actually swings up and down. It doesn't go upside down or anything, it just swings from left to right and goes quite high up, as you can see here. We'll just speed it up a bit so you can actually see the full ride. There you go. So it just swings right up in the air. It doesn't go upside down or anything, it just does that and spins around a little bit as well. So over here we have probably one of the craziest rides around, called Breakout. So this is actually again you can see, you'll see it in action. So this actually spins round, and of course as you get into the ride the cars actually spin round as well, which you'll see. And then it gets faster and faster as the ride goes along. Yes, that's a good ride. That's quite a crazy one to see. And over here we have the Cube. There's another crazy ride which you can just see here, where the ride is like a shape of a cube, and then of course it turns round. The actual ride goes round in different directions, giving a really crazy ride experience. So we've got a few thrill rides here, so we'll move on to the next ones. So over here we have the Scream Drop, which of course obviously is a drop tower, and this actually goes quite a long way up. Goes quite a long way up. And it's actually one of the tallest rides here, but it's not as tall as the other one that you'll think, which you can just see in the background. We'll go more in detail of the other ride later. So obviously it's just a drop tower. Takes riders up to around this point, stops for a few seconds, and then goes right back down to where it started. If I just fast forward it a bit, you might see it in action. Yeah, so we're just going to fast forward it. And you can see it goes quite a long way up. And as we get to the top, you can actually hear the cable being... Hang on, if we go a bit closer. Yeah, if you go to the top, you can actually hear the motor for the cables, which is actually lifting up the actual ride itself. Yeah, we'll get a nice view of it coming down. There you go, it'll stop, and then it will go. God, that's quite fast actually. Really, really fast. I bet those people were absolutely petrified when it just went down. And then of course this little part then comes back down, and then the safety belts will open. So over here we have, I believe it's overpower. So this is a ride that just goes upside down, swings back and forth, which you can see here. So it's definitely a thrill ride. That's what all it does. There's a little ride just over here. And over here we have the Super Loop, which of course is where the oh, I think that's just finished actually. Yeah, this is actually a ride where people just sit in like a train, and then it just goes around in a loop, which you can see. However, I think we'll just fast forward again so we can actually see the full ride in action. So yeah, what it is, it's actually powered by these little tyres that are attached onto a track, and then of course it actually sends the train upside down in a circle. There we go. Then of course those tyres will start to get faster. Again, we'll do our fast forward because of course I can't be bothered to wait for the actual ride. There we go. So it will then go round in a loop. It takes a few attempts to get it all the way round. I think next one, it should be the next one. Is it the next one? Well, there you go. Nice and slow. And then of course it gets faster as well. So yeah, so that's the Super Loop. Moving on to this next ride here. Insanity, I think, or Insanity, I think it's called. Yeah, that's how you say it, Insanity, yeah. So what this ride actually does, you can actually see there's two, well, I don't know what they're called, they're like, well, I'm not sure what it is, but it's just like two separate cars or carriages or whatever you want to call them, or seats maybe. You got some that face forward and backwards, and then of course these two machines actually go different ways, so they actually swing back and forth. One will go forward, one will go backwards. I'll just give you a quick demonstration. Unfortunately we have to keep fast forwarding because of course I actually want to see what the rides actually do and show it to you guys so you can actually have a little look. what is going on. So like I said, it actually starts nice and slowly, swings forward and backwards. You know, one going the other side, one going the other. And then of course when it gets to the top, it really starts to slow down, and then of course it really creates that that force of the loop. So there you go. Look at it, it just stops and then it carries on. And there you go, it just goes round the loop, it just slows down. And over here we have another thrill ride called Wheels of Thoughts, because of course, as this is a by looking at the theme, you've actually got wheels going around, and that's supposed to be like, yeah, that's actually a brain in the middle of the centerpiece with a few electric effects. So that's why I call it Wheels of Thoughts, because there's wheels, and of course you've actually got the brain in the middle. And of course the cars will spin around while the wheels spin as well, which you can just see here. Yeah, so it will just somersault the riders over. So that's a little ride to look at. And I think we've actually covered most of the thrill rides. And then over here we've actually got another thrill ride called Wind Turbine, because as I actually look at the ride when it's in the air, it actually does remind me of a wind turbine that you actually find out in the sea. Wind farm, of course, so yeah, offshore wind farms. So yeah, again, we're going to have to fast forward because of course, yes, it happens every time I move from one ride to the next, that other ride then finishes. So we will just wait for the passengers to get on. Yeah, so these are thrill rides, remember, so not many young families will be heading on. So of course the ride starts off like this. It tilts the passengers around at the moment, and then of course the mechanism that actually lifts up. Of course it lifts the actual ride up, and then of course as you actually see it, it actually reminds you of a wind turbine from this angle. So I think that is the thrill rides we've all covered. Yeah, so these are the thrill rides. So we're actually going to move on to this area of the park now, where there's more of the general rides. There's also some shops over there as well, along with some other bits. So over here we actually have this little ride here. I think this is called Radius. Yeah, it's called Radius because it's actually a Ferris wheel, but not as actually you think, because of course this is actually a very different Ferris wheel compared to the other Ferris wheels, like the big wheel and the other wheel, which you can see in the distance as well, which I'll show you later. Yeah, so this one, instead of the whole structure going around, the actual gondolas are actually placed on a track. Hang on, if I can actually get a better shot. Yeah, you can see they're actually placed on a track. So instead of the whole structure of the wheel actually moving, the gondolas actually move outside the structure, so it actually moves around the whole thing. So that is a really, really interesting Ferris wheel. In the meantime, we are going to go check out some of the other rides. So here we've actually got Pendulum, which of course it's like a ride that swings from side to side, goes upwards, just like what you find in a pendulum clock. You have the clock itself, and then of course the pendulum swinging side to side at the bottom. So again, we're going to have to fast forward again, because of course every time I go from one ride to the next, I always keep missing it. So yeah, you can see it actually starts to swing from side to side. It's actually like the giant claw ride, which I actually showed you at the beginning. So again, want to fast forward it so we can actually get a better angle of it. And there you go. So it actually starts swinging like that. Doesn't go upside down. It's just exactly like the first ride one of the first rides I showed you. It's sort of it tries, but it doesn't go all the way though. So it does go quite. Yeah, it goes around about that, so it doesn't go over. Oh, we'll just quickly go back to radius. So like I said, as you can see, the actual gondolas are moving on the track, so the structure itself is not moving, it's just the gondolas around the outside, which makes it really, really interesting. It's probably one of my favourite rides in the game, to be honest, because of course of the way it's been built, which is absolutely perfect. And it moves nice and slowly as well. So anyway, let's go on with our next ride. One of our roller coasters at the park. So this is actually the Red Arrow. This is actually a pre-built coaster, so I've actually just put it there. I've actually themed it up a little bit, and you can see the ride itself actually goes around. I think it's like a so it's actually a launch coaster. So we'll get it coming out in a minute. Again, I keep saying this, I keep missing the rides every time, so we'll do that. As you can see, the train will go out the station and off it goes. It will go around the route a couple of times. It's quite fast, so I think it does it twice, but it doesn't do as many inversions as the first time. Goes up the hill, banks into the next turn, and then of course it will then just do one more inversion. And then of course it will just go back into the station. Does it twice, but of course it only has one inversion on that one. And of course you've got the planes and the satellite on the top as well. It's like a little tower over here. Over here then we've got some family rides, which you can see. Over here we have the Crazy Octopus, which is like a ride that spins round, and of course the actual cars themselves are actually fish themed, which you can see here. And then of course you've then got your octopus on the middle of the actual ride itself. It's not going around at the moment, but of course I'll try to see if I can get some shots of it going round. And then of course it has bubbles coming out as well, which is really interesting. Yeah, it's got bubbles coming out, so yeah, that's really, really good. Now moving on to probably what is the tallest of the rides at my amusement park, which is called the Sun Flare. So this is basically a star flyer, because of course if you look at it, it actually does look a bit like a star. So this ride actually goes very, very high up. You'll see in a minute when everyone has come off, and of course with some new riders as well. So yeah, this is going to be quite tall, and of course I'll get the camera to follow it. And there we go. It goes very, very high up, and then it starts spinning round, and it gives you a 365-degree view of the area. And as you can see, it stops at the top for a few moments, and then of course it will then start to go down. Quite nice music as well for this one. I do like the way that all the rides have different musics. You can choose any music you want for your rides, which is good. But I do like this one the best, though. It's nice and relaxing. And there you go. It will then start going down. And then of course it stops spinning, and then the little seats or carriages are then lowered down, ready for the next one. And there we go. And then of course these are all attached to a lot of chains, and then of course you then got your little safety bar as well. And then of course you then got the sun on the very bottom of the ride, which is good. Over here we have another Ferris wheel, so this actually moves, the whole structure moves this time. But another difference with this wheel is actually the gondolas are actually on, well, some of the gondolas are actually on little rails, which you can just see here. Yeah, you can see this one is actually on rails, which actually swings the carriages from side to side. And then of course you then got a few other normal ones that don't move, they're a bit normal. So it is quite a crazy Ferris wheel, to be honest. It does. I don't think you've ever seen Ferris wheels with little rails on it before. So yeah, that's quite an interesting Ferris wheel. And over here we have the acrobatic planes. So you got your planes on the bottom, and then of course the propellers in the middle that go upside down. And again, the ride's just finished, so I managed to show you a little bit of it. So you got these little propellers that spin around in the middle, and then of course the actual ride then takes each of the planes upside down. That's why I've actually called them the acrobatic planes. So we've got that little ride there. We have a little teacups ride, which you can just see here. Not many, I don't think there's anybody on them, because to be honest it hasn't got that much scenery. It's not really the best of rides, but it's there anyway. You know, if anyone wants to have a go, that's why I put it there. So you've got the saucers, and of course you then got the actual cups themselves. And you've got a teapot and some delicious cupcakes as well, and strawberries. Over here we have another ride called Rattlesnake. This is the one that spins round, and I think it has a canopy on it as well, I think. Yeah, there you go. So that's what a canopy is. So it actually covers the riders up for a few seconds, so it creates more of a thrilling experience. It does it backwards as well. And of course you've got the lights in the middle as well. So I think that's all the little rides just over here. Round the back here we've actually got our second roller coaster called Whirlwind, which is a small mini roller coaster that spins riders around. I don't think it spins though, I'm not sure, does it? Oh yeah, it does spin a little bit, yeah. Oh, a bit of a spin at the end. And there you go. So that's Whirlwind. It's just a small little coaster really, for the younger families to go on. over here we actually have one of the most popular rides at the park. This is actually another pre-built track ride called Steam. So this is like a little vintage cars ride that takes riders on a little journey around these industrial factory. It's mainly steam because of course they're like boilers and pipes, bit of steam as well. You know, it's like an industrial theme going on. Yeah, so of course yeah, so it's like that. So you've got these little vintage cards, and then of course you got a little machine over here as well, and of course you've got some boilers as well. And then of course one of the final rides, which is another popular one here at my amusement park, is the Scenic Railway, which is just here. And you can probably tell it's also the biggest ride in the park because you can see it's a wooden roller coaster. It does it's like a double figure of 8, I think. Yeah, it's sort of a double figure of 8, which you can just see from above. It's that of different elements. So you've got the lift hill, you've then got the drop, you've then got a big drop, and then of course you've got a few little airtime drops, which you can just see. Got a nice thrilling wooden roller coaster for all the family to go on as well, and the thrill seekers. So you can see that's looking really, really nice. And then of course I've also been working on the lighting as well. So you've actually got some classic lantern chains which look really good at night. I've actually been working on this so far. I've actually got probably another couple of sections of the track to do, and then of course that'll be finished. Nice and classic, you know, just go with that vintage feel of the wooden roller coaster. So that's that. And then of course we've then got our railway. Nope, there's no train in here. We'll go find where I've actually got a train. So here we've got our little train. So there's 3 trains in total. Each of them have a locomotive, a coal tender, and 3 carriages to transport the passengers from one side of the park to the other, from A to B to C. So because of course there's 3 stations in total. So yeah, that is literally my little project I've actually been working on over the past couple of months, and it is actually going very, very well. And yeah, it's coming along really nicely. All I've just got to do is just add a little bit of scenery, scenery, sorry, I couldn't say it then. Yeah, I've just got to add a little bit more scenery and decorations to the rides, and then of course that'll be actually done. So of course I'll probably do a POV of the Scenic Railway, which is one I've actually built on my own, and of course we'll probably then do a little POV of the railway as well. So yeah, I hope you really enjoyed this little video that I've actually done of my amusement park, and it's actually called Planet Pleasure Park. So that's a really catchy name for the park. So yeah, that's a really good name that I thought I'd come up with, because of course it is quite a big park, and of course you've actually got a lot of space for everyone to walk around. So that's why I've actually used the square edges, so that everyone can move around differently in different places, so people can actually get to the rides, you know, without having to be cramped into each other. So it's all nice and spacious and plenty of room to walk around. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'm sure I'll be back with another Planet Coaster video very soon. And yeah, in the meantime, keep on filming and keep on editing. Bye for now.